So any Romanian deadlift movement is based around the principle that we're trying to put a little bit more pressure towards our hips than we are to our knees. The simple way that I like to split it is if we were to do a squat, it would be 50% hips and 50% knees. If I was to do a normal deadlift, it would be somewhere in the realms of like an 80% hip and a 20% knee. And when we do a Romanian deadlift, it's more closer to a 90 to 95% hip and a 5 to 10% knee. You can see here the demonstration of it. I'm using the higher handles up to begin with, and you'll see in a second the difference in the range. Basically, if you want to do a dead start version of this movement, I would suggest using this higher up handle because it kind of naturally sets you up into what people will typically have available to them as active hamstring range. The thing that I like about Hex Bar as well is that if, for example, you don't have flexible enough hamstrings to pull this from the floor like this, it's quite easy. If you set up like you were going to deadlift it normally, if I was to stand up straight, that would be a normal Hex Bar deadlift. But if then you just push your knees back and keep your back straight until you feel some tension in your hamstrings, that is the position that you're going to start your Romanian deadlift from. And so from there, that's when you stand up. So for you, that might be that you can get further back and your knees can be almost straight at this point. We'll get to that in a second. Or for you, it could be that your knees are further forwards and they're more like in this position here, but that provides you with hamstring tension. You have to adjust it according to you, but that's the basic principle of how we start that. And then if you want more range of motion, you flip the handles over, and typically people won't have the active range of motion to be able to set up like a normal deadlift here and then push themselves back and then pull from the floor. But if you do, all that's doing is setting you deeper into a hamstring range when you can lightly tap from the floor like that. If you don't have that ability, then that's fine. You don't have to touch the ground in between each rep. You can just go to the point where you hover away from the floor, you lower down until you get some hamstring tension and then come back up again. That's absolutely fine as well. There's just two different ways we can do it. Adjust the handle height to suit your range of motion and adjust your position to suit your range of motion. The other bare bones essentials is we want to try and make sure, regardless of how much hip and knee we're putting into the movement, we want to try and make sure that we're evenly distributing our weight across the inside, the outside, and the heels of both feet, because that is one of the ways that we're going to be able to progress more confidently with this movement. Basically, if your brain doesn't feel that you are balanced, it won't provide the musculature with strength to be able to perform a coordinated movement, because its priority at that point is not falling over. So if you are balanced and you're not going to fall over and your brain never has that potential fear of falling over, you are more likely to be able to train your musculature more effectively.